Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome into a special edition of the Last Ship After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV and AfterBuzzTV.com, coming to you a couple days late thanks to the VMAs on Sunday night. We are talking Cry Havoc tonight, the penultimate, that means second to last, episode of the second season of The Last Ship. I'm Bobby DeMuro, joined by Nick Grava, and special guest in studio with us today, busy tweeting as he's too good for us. Travis,
you guys just told me to tweet.
Sure we did.
So I'm tweeting the fans.
Travis Van Winkle
plays. The questions now. I'm on AfterBuzz. There,
That's perfect. That's good.
I'm glad you did that actually, because we all have our phones out. We are all on Twitter. So if you're watching this live on the live stream, we already got a ton of questions from you guys the last couple of weeks. If you're watching this live, you can send in questions. He is at TV Dub. I'm at Bobby DeMuro. Nick, you're at Nicholas.
At Nicholas Grava. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's only been a whole season. You can't get my Twitter handle.
Well, sorry.
You guys are real friends.
Yeah,
Kate is regrettably out tonight. So is Monty. I feel real bad for Kate. I know you had the ring, you had the flowers, you have the present. It's all off camera.
I guess I have to give it to someone else now.
Do you, Nick? Are you single? Or
You know, I am, and I hate to do that for Kate. That's terrible. She would really. I'm sure she's watching live, and I'm sure she's going to be tweeting the most questions for you.
Tweet away.
I can guess what the questions are going to be. Let's get into it today. We're talking Cry Havoc. Also, obviously, going to talk to Travis about Lieutenant Green, fatherhood. First things first, how's the baby?
Still developing. Maybe a limb grew today, or an internal organ, maybe an eyeball. I'm not sure.
Do you get people coming up to you being like, "Hey, you make such a great dad. Like, I really like the relationship," and you're like, "Okay, wait a second. It's just television."
No, what I get is in the supermarket, I get middle-aged men that are usually giving me the eye, like, I know you, and I'm like, okay, I think they're probably a fan of the show, but no one's come up to me yet and told me I was going to be a good dad.
Have you been talking to your agent? So we have this thing. We've got a host here, Stefan Wallace, for folks who watch a lot of AfterBuzz, and he does a lot of commercials where he's portraying a young dad. Different commercials for companies. And there's that whole segment in entertainment here in LA for folks who aren't familiar. You split people up into different casting groups, and one of them is young dad. Do you think you've got a young dad future in commercials and acting and stuff, or are you still like, you know what, I'm not there yet, don't push this on me?
Let's see how I do in season 3 actually as a dad.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. If I want to start a commercial career, which is probably pretty lucrative, I'll answer you in a year.
So is that confirmation now?
That's fair.
That season 3 you're going to survive, the baby survives, so we're going to see.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe episode 1. I don't know.
Do you know anything? So have you seen a script yet? Have you seen any idea for season 3?
I know nothing.
Wow.
Really?
And none of us do, and that's how they keep it. So they don't want us to know too much, so that it's very real for us. So we can continue to be excited about it. And they think that if we know too much, then it might ruin some of our process of getting into it. So they just hold it over our heads, saying, well, okay, we'll tell you just a little bit, but not too much.
That's exciting and terrifying all at the same time, I'd say.
We had Stephen Kane in here a few weeks ago. Says nothing but good things about all you guys. Obviously, we've had Jocko and Kevin in here. Jocko Sims, Kevin Michael Martin.
Kevin.
Those two. Why do you say that? Because those two, are they as much of a practical joker tandem on set as they seem to be when they were with us? Because they were goofy as hell.
Absolutely. Oh my God. I mean, you get all 3 of us together, we have a damn good time.
I can only imagine filming scenes with all 3 of you guys. Them 2 on the couch, they're hilarious. They are always joking around, always a good time. So I can only imagine you guys filming scenes together.
And I can imagine Eric Dane and Adam Baldwin just rolling their eyes, saying, "Let's just get our work in and go home."
Actually, they're bigger goofballs than we are. But
Really?
They just have a different way of showing it. Yeah, but everyone's got their own little personality they bring to set, and it's a lot of fun.
It seems like you guys are actually, like, everyone does seem like they're pretty good on and off set, and the chemistry's on and off set is really cool, which I think a lot of shows will say they have that, but I mean, just from experience of having everyone in and seeing people, it does seem like it's really real, and I think that does translate on screen to when you see the relationship.
Well, I think it's because we get paid to like each other. So
Not
that's
a bad
pretty much
gig,
it.
yeah.
We're not real friends. We're just like, we're around each other. Might as well try to like each other.
Put up with each other.
No, everyone's really
Yeah.
cool. And I think as the years have gone on, real friendships have formed. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, it's got to be something. I mean, you have one of the top-rated Sunday night shows, if not the top-rated week to week. I remember that the one week that Last Ship was usurped on Sunday nights was I Am Kate's premiere, which was like an event a couple weeks ago, and then Last Ship takes the top spot again. So it's got to be really nice having a very good show and a very popular show to say, hey, assuming we don't get written off the script and killed at some point, we could be here for quite a while. There's no reason there couldn't be a 4, 5, 6 seasons.
I've learned with this show, season 3. I'm just going to look at season 3.
Just going to count it right there.
Yeah, I'll just stick with season 3, and I think that's a lot to look forward to in itself. So I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, and that's actually what Adam Baldwin from the very beginning he said, because I came in young pup. I'm like, well, TV series, well, we get 6 years, and he's like, take it easy. Just focus on this right now because it's a great opportunity. This might be all we get is one season. And it's that old grizzled veteran that just comes in and drops bombs of wisdom, and he's good at doing that.
That's interesting. I'm glad you said that because he specifically has seen it. Firefly, cult following, everybody wanted that thing to go again and again, didn't happen. Yeah. So he's experienced this firsthand.
Yep. Just to live in the one that you're actually filming, doing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it like? Because have you been out to any of the conventions and stuff with Kevin and Jocko and them? Because they say that at these conventions, Adam is a god, and the rest of you are like, oh yeah, right, the rest of the Last Ship people.
Yeah, when the fans get a chance to ask questions, they just direct all of them to Adam. So we just kind of sit there and just twiddle our thumbs, and we're like, well, maybe they'll ask me one question. or usually we interject answering Adam's questions for him just so that we can feel like we're relevant on the stage.
That's it's interesting to see the development, I guess, of some of the younger characters and younger actors in here. There's a few folks on this show who are very, very young career-wise coming into this show. And military roles, I mean, we're no acting experts. I think we're hosting experts, but not acting experts. Military roles
Wouldn't even say that, really.
aren't...
Take it easy. One show at a time.
Thanks, Adam. Military roles aren't necessarily as emotionally tough to play on the surface. You're not crying as much. You don't have as much of an emotional range. But I think it's almost tougher because you have to carry those emotions. And we saw it in a scene in Cry Havoc when you and Lieutenant Foster, when Kara and Danny get together and she says, I'm paraphrasing, but whatever the phrase was,
scene.
Don't let me raise this child alone, that kind of stuff. Well, you're playing a soldier. You cannot cry and bawl and do that stuff, but you got to convey it underneath the surface. Is that tougher to do that than just to, hey, this is my one emotion and I'm doing it?
No matter what, everybody has all these emotions. But when it comes to military, I think what happens is people, they put on, they project military men and women, you can't have emotions. And that's also what society has done to men. Yeah. Men cannot show emotion. So I think what's great about this, even though it is a military role, is conveying men can show emotion. And Eric Dane shows emotion quite a bit. Same thing with Adam when he lost his child, and realized his child was dead. I feel like they've done a good job at allowing us men to have our moments, while also having our moments where we have to say, you know what, there's a time and a place. And we have to really serve the mission first, and we can't really give in to our emotions, but they give us that outlet to at least express it. And I like that they're sending that message out.
It's an interesting show. I think one of the better scenes emotion-wise was Eric Dane's, was President Mitchell and Commander Chandler, Captain
that whole
Chandler.
episode that was with them talking back and forth. Yeah, that was an intense
talking
episode.
about Michener's children and what he did and all that kind of stuff, and just balling together.
They rocked that, man. That was a really cool episode, and just to have just those two on screen the entire time, it takes a lot, of presence, and they crushed it.
Talk to me a little bit now. We've got a couple Twitter questions, and we're taking some more from you guys. And I know you've probably got more than I do.
I got a few queued up here.
But I did want to talk to one because the scene that we're talking about, Green and Foster.
Thank you, by the way. That was a really great scene. I loved filming that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes this season.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's because you get to kiss somebody. That's never a bad thing.
Well,
Also, we also get to talk. Like her and I have so many scenes where it's left to the audience to figure out how they like our emotional arc is pretty much put into the audience's minds. Like they can figure out for themselves. You know that you see Kara and I periodically. This one, like no, you get to go on the journey with us this time and.
We've gotten tweets up until this asking sort of what is going on with that storyline, what's happening with the baby. So people, even though if it wasn't being shown on the screen, they were still wondering about it. That's when you know you have a good storyline going there, that people, even when they don't see it, are thinking about it. That's a pretty big thing.
Well, I'm hoping season 3 is a sweet spot with that because there's a lot of development that a lot of potential for that storyline. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think it's safety for you and her. You can't. It's tough to remove a character.
You can't even say that. In today's world, you can't even say that. One episode at a time.
I'll knock on wood. We've got a little bit of wood down over here.
some wood.
Okay, so a couple questions about that. And actually, the first one is about Green and Foster. From Miss Barbara J on Twitter, Miss Barbara_J. She asks, please ask Travis, I really missed the Foster Green storyline. When can we expect to see more of their relationship? We saw it this week. She said this before Sunday. But besides that, is something coming next week, or do you think it's just sweet spot next year?
You'll see something tomorrow. You'll see something on Sunday in the finale.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely tune in. If you like our storyline, you're going to want to check it out.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I have a question from Jacqueline, and she wants to know, was Lieutenant Green the role that you originally auditioned for? And if so, what was that process like for you?
Yes, that is the role that I auditioned for. And you know what? I've been in LA for 12 plus years. I've tested for so many shows and always gotten second place, third place. And I've been in front of the studios, in front of the networks through that whole just rigorous process. And the process sucks. if you continue getting no's.
Not a glamorous process like some will believe or something.
Right. It's a hard process. With the right perspective, it's a great process. But having no's over the course of 8 years, it's hard because you get this close and then they're like, well, this other guy, he just seems to like fit the part better. So go off and do your thing. You suck. They really don't say that, but that's how you feel. So this role I got to audition for, and I went in there and. Denise Jamian, she's the casting director. We just had a great time. We played, we really messed around with it, and just really got it to a cool place. And they sent off the tapes, and then from there, I got a call. Said, "Bae, watch the tape." That was his choice. Let's wait for TNT approval. TNT approved, and then I was like, "Hey, guess what? You got the job."
So was it off the one tape?
So it turned out to be the easiest process that I've had in the 10 years at that time in LA. So for me, I always look at things like a lot of my experiences. I feel like we earn who we are, and I feel like I earned that for this process to be as easy as it was. I feel like I earned that.
Right.
And not want to being I don't want to be an arrogant shithead and say like I deserved it, but like I worked my ass off to get there, and it just happened to work easily.
Yeah, no, there's definitely. Are there any shows that you're comfortable talking about? I don't know if you're allowed to, but anything where you came in second place that went on to be successful? That you wish, man, I wish I had had that.
Oh, yeah. I was right up there with Ian Somerhalder in Vampire Diaries.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was close.
Very different than this.
And I would live in Atlanta, where I'm from, and they're on season 7 or 8. Like I would have a very different trajectory right now, and different fan base, different everything. I got really close. I've gotten close on a lot of things, and I'm sure every
that
actor...
has to be a good sign, though. I don't think you can say I don't know if a lot of actors do always get that close. I promise you,
every actor has had moments, whether it's a big job or a little job, where they were on hold for something, or there's a pin in you.
Yeah.
So then you're just waiting for your phone. You're like, is it ring it? No, is it ring it? No, is it ring it? And basically, you just hold your phone here, just waiting. Ring, ring, ring. It becomes this unhealthy obsession because this job could be, hey, it's a great opportunity to get exposure, to make money, to further your process. So I'm sure a lot of actors have had that experience.
That's really interesting to me, especially Vampire Diaries. What a different show. What a different requirement.
Absolutely.
Totally different fan base it would have been. But you can't hate how it worked out.
Mm-mm.
Everything, I always like the saying, what's for me won't go by me. And I always use that after auditions. If it's meant for me, I'll get it. And there's always some kind of divine guidance. If you believe that, I believe that something, will come when it's supposed to come, and there's reasons behind it.
And 10 years in LA to do it, you get the patience of a saint.
Wow.
Because LA is, it's tough. It's a tough city.
Again, I've had to earn that.
Yeah.
Because just growing up in this town, I came out here when I was 20, and I'm 32 now. And, growing up out here is, again, it's not an easy place to grow up, especially when you're being rejected constantly.
Yeah.
At 20 years old, too,
Right.
in like this development stage when you're building it, yeah.
Right, but then again, you also have so much beautiful stuff that's here in Los Angeles. There's just great spirituality. There's great culture. There's a lot of like healthy competition. There's great creativity. There's nature everywhere. You have everything you need to really get by. So. Move to LA if you want to start acting.
No, but I think that's the point. I think that's not to get too far off the show, but I think that's kind of the point of this is you did, and so many others do, what you have to do. Nobody here, there are people here, this is their first job, but it doesn't mean they've been working for 2 weeks. These people have been putting in a lot of time to do stuff like this. And I think, it's funny, it's almost like sports. You see somebody overnight, and you say, that's an overnight success. They had a great season, or they had a great season on television, or whatever it was. Where'd they come from? They came out of nowhere. Well, overnight success takes a decade.
Right.
And now you're in the minds of people who maybe otherwise would never have seen you, but it's like, wait a second, I've been here for a decade.
Yeah, and then
Where
you
have
look
been?
back at all the stuff that I've done, and I play an asshole in everything. You look back at all my stuff, and I get to play this, I'm this stereotypical mean guy that's privileged, that just wants to make everybody else suffer so that he can have a good life and feel good about himself.
What was your favorite gig besides Last Ship? Where'd you have the most fun?
You know what? I got to play this cop from the 1980s that time travels to the present to fight crime. It's a web series called Squad 85, and I played Rusty. And I played this cop. I wore extra short shorts. I had a mustache, a scar on my face, and it was just the most ridiculous fun.
That's
that I've
pretty
had.
amazing.
Yeah.
Was that one of the first jobs you booked? What was it? Actually,
that was
how old
actually
were you?
right before I got the Last Ship.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you when you booked your first job? So you moved out at 20.
I moved out here at 20.
Yeah.
I got an agent when I was 21. So after 6 months, I got an agent, and then I started booking student films right away. And they sent me on student film auditions, and I started booking those like crazy. Going back and watching those is quite the event. And then they started putting me out for little co-star spots, and I got a little co-star spot on Mad TV.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I got to act in front of a live audience of like 300 or 400 people, and it was a scene with what's the guy's name? He always played the kid, like the creepy kid. What was his name?
I don't know. I can figure it out, though.
Stewart. He plays.
There we go.
Stewart,
Oh,
but
that
what
was
is
our
his
engineer
name?
in there. Got it.
Anyways, I got to do a scene with, I think his name's Michael something. I got to do a scene with him, and he's freaking hilarious. And then my first real job was That's So Raven. I got to do a guest star spot.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was in
Okay.
front of a live studio audience as well. So for me, it was like, I was just getting thrown into the deep end. But it was a lot of fun, and I got to kiss Raven and the other actress. So I was like, this is the coolest job ever.
Oh man, if you ever do get to go on The View, I don't know if she's doing the new season. She did the last one. If you
I
ever do
think
get to
so.
go on The View,
She's on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is she on the next one? She's on 9.
I think she's
Okay.
she's continuing.
Oh,
Okay,
what we'll do is we'll reenact our scene.
Exactly. Yeah. All
The
right.
kissing part. No, I'm serious, because whenever we would kiss or whenever we'd be close together, we would have a psychic vision. That was the storyline.
Were you psychic also?
Yes. So it's called double vision. So and then
I've definitely seen that. I was a big That's So Raven fan back in the
and
day.
then when our lips touched, it was like, whoa, crazy, clear psychic vision.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Interesting.
fun.
Cool first job.
That was way back in the day. I don't even know how to transition off that. Let's move on to some more Twitter questions. We got a lot. These are good questions. First off, do you know when season 3 starts to film? Have they told you?
Probably the same as every year. It's probably mid-October.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we'll see it, I guess, next summer.
Summer show.
Good.
Always summer show.
Good,
yeah.
good. A couple more. What's the next acting role you shoot? Do you have anything booked besides this in the meantime?
The thing that I've been really focusing my effort on is I'm making a documentary right now. I've had a really so lucky that I get to do this, and I get to travel across the world to these developing countries and build schools. So I work with an organization called Build On, and we team up with these communities, and we live with these families, and we build the foundation of a school with them, and we really empower them because they have to finish the school without us. So we just basically go there, and they are such hard. We don't do anything. Like, they show us what real hard work is. We just go there to, have a really beautiful cultural exchange, and we get to know them, and we get to live what their life is like, and we check out of this crazy life to check in to what life really is. It's this beautiful experience, and I had started leading treks with Build On because it just captured me. So I called Build On and I said, I want to lead treks. What do I do? And they started sending me to lead treks. And I was leading like 8th graders and their families from Dallas to go build school. And then, like a group of college kids from the U.S. to go build a different school. I went to Haiti and Nicaragua. And so I said, you know what? I got to get my friends involved. So I teamed up with my friends, and I got a bunch of us to raise $100,000 to build 3 schools.
That's amazing.
And I got together with Justin Baldoni, who's one of my greatest friends, and his production company, Wayfair Entertainment. We've teamed up, and we're making a documentary called Groundwork. And we're taking these kids. A group of my friends, we already went to Malawi this summer, and that was just incredible. I teamed up with a group of inner city kids from Detroit who, most of them live below the poverty line, like on 7 Mile or 8 Mile. They come from broken homes. They're on the verge of gang life. They don't have the best of situation, and a lot of people have low expectation on them. Oh, since you're in Detroit, Detroit is this. But these kids are ridiculous. So I got to team up with these kids and take them through this experience and facilitate this life-changing experience with them.
That's pretty amazing.
So we're documenting this beautiful story called Groundwork. And these kids taught me so much, and they're not bound to these low expectations. They're not bound to the situations that they were born into. They're really making effort to change their life. It's really inspiring stuff. It's going to be a great story, and we're in the process now of just trolling through the footage and coming up with the narrative and telling the story. And August 2016 is
that's pretty awesome.
Our goal.
That's all. I would absolutely watch something like that.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. And you took care of my next question too. Somebody wanted to know what was next with Build On.
Oh,
so
yeah, I saw that.
Are you going back to Africa? Are you going to reshoot like with the kids? You're going to go back with them, or was it just one and done, one trip?
Well, we went to Detroit. I got to go to Detroit twice to meet them and their families and to do some service with them in Detroit. Because what happens is with Build On, they take kids in Brooklyn and D.C. and Philly and Detroit and Oakland. They take these kids and they put them through an after-school program where they begin to be of service to their communities. And these kids begin changing the communities they live in. And they work with the homeless. They work with the veterans. They paint murals, and they board up the abandoned houses. And once they acquire a certain amount of community service hours, then Build On takes them to go build a school. So I've had a chance to go to Detroit twice to get to know these kids and their families.
That's cool.
And
So you meet them and work with them there, and then you go off with them on a trip.
Yeah. And
wow. So you're really developing like relationships and long-term things. It's not just
and it didn't necessarily start off as that, but now that I've been back from Malawi, I'm in contact with a lot of them, and a lot of them are reaching out to me and asking me like, hey, my mom is not listening to me, and like they're not paying attention to me, and I have all these needs that I want, but they're pretending like I don't exist. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Let me give you some advice. And I didn't realize how close I would become and how much I would love these kids. And yeah, I think it's going to be something that is true friendship that was created from service. When you serve together, there's a different kind of essence that's involved, and all the barriers get shed, and you connect in ways that you never thought possible. And on these trips to go build schools, so Build On has found a formula that works, because you feel on these trips unconditional love like you have never felt it. And you come home going like, what happened to me? I don't know what that was. And you can't help but have a certain part of your wall, your defenses, your mask. You can't help but have some of that melted away. So I'm very lucky that I got to know these kids from Detroit, and I'm excited to get to know them more.
And it feels like, everybody's out of their comfort zone. You're not in their neighborhood. They're not in yours. You're all in Africa. Like, nobody has any frame of reference for anything around here. It's got to be culture shock for you. I've never been anywhere like that, but it's got to be incredible. I've been through the Middle East a lot, and just the different cultures, and it's like, wait a second. This is how people live. This is life every day.
Talk about perspective.
Yeah.
Talk about the things that we take for granted, that we can turn on our shower and then go brush our teeth and then go talk to our roommate like, oh shoot, the shower's been on for 5 minutes.
Yep.
You don't get that.
Hey, don't say that in LA, because you're not going to get that here either.
I didn't say that I did that. I'm just saying we take advantage.
Right.
Don't put words in my mouth. We take advantage of certain luxuries that we have, and I got a chance to. What Build On does is they every school built they have an adult literacy program, so the adults get to learn to read and write for the first time, and it's basic literacy. And I got a chance to interview a lot of the adults that had gone through the program, and they were saying things, that we take for granted. Like, they could now go into the market and not get taken advantage of because they now know how to count.
Yeah.
So they're not getting ripped off. They know how to read street signs, so they don't have to walk around like animals. Things that we don't even think about. Education is a right that we have, and if you don't get an education in this country, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Education is a human right, and in a lot of these, developing countries, it's not something that they all get the chance to have, and I think that's why the mission is so important. And then having our kids from Detroit and from all the inner cities in the U.S. participate in giving that education is profound, and they're receiving so much more of an education than you can in a classroom.
Yeah.
And they're also giving education. It's a profound thing, and we'll capture all that and tell the story in the documentary, and it's going to be something that hopefully makes you go, holy shit, I got to get off my ass and do more for the world.
I mean, already just from hearing conversation, I feel that way, so I'm sure watching the
what are you
documentary
waiting
I was going to say the same thing. What's your next trip? Because we'll go.
Literally
I'm
sign
going to Nepal at the end of this month to do our final school. So we're going to an area that was devastated by the earthquake, and we're going to build a school and team up with a community, and we're going to do the same thing. So that'll also be part of the documentary.
I mean, he does it all.
Really?
What are we supposed to say? If Kate were here, I know what she'd be saying.
Oh, God.
Is there anything you don't do?
There's a lot of things that I don't do.
That's like, just put him on the spot.
I don't know. The thing that came to me is the Happy Gilmore line is like, you eat shit for breakfast? And he's like, no, I don't eat shit for breakfast. I don't eat shit for breakfast, man.
Okay.
That's probably important. We also know you may not conserve water.
Whoa.
Actually, that's fun. In the episode, they were also trying to conserve water at one scene, and I was just
Very LA
it
storyline.
actually had me think back to, I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't even know. It is all perspective, and sometimes in the show it also leaves me, when you see the world in the shape that it's in, it brings me back to perspective, because we always say it, almost every after show, that as out there as this show is, it's so grounded, and we watch it as not reality, but you watch it being like, oh my God, yes, I could see the world in a shape like this, and this is how the people would act. And that's one of my favorite things about the show. I think yours too. We've said that.
Yeah, it hasn't jumped the shark yet, and I don't know that it will. I mean, I hope it doesn't. But it hasn't had that moment where we said, you know what, that's stupid.
Well, we're going to have a talking whale next season.
Okay.
I'm down.
Season 3, the one plot line we know.
Our ship's going to go down, and we're going to have to ride a whale to see. But I think what's great about the show is this could happen to the world, and if it did, especially when it came to our storyline with the immunes, if these people have this power and they think that they're the God-given, righteous ones of the planet, if you have this power, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to use it for good or bad? And they wanted to use it for selfish means, and I think it taps into the very human question of who are we if all the rules, all the laws, everything, all the structure goes away? Who do we become? Are we inherently good, or when survival kicks in, do we do some effed up stuff to take care of ourselves, or do we work together? Like, it asks a lot of questions about who we really are, and that's why I'm intrigued by the show too, and I can't wait to see where it goes, because it's how are we going to restart a civilization? How do we? I mean, I know I got the task of repopulating the civilization, pretty good responsibility.
You were one for one,
right? Who knows? It asks a lot of questions, and there's a lot of growth for this show. So when you asked before, do I see this going many seasons? I see this for sure going many seasons, and I hope I'm a part of it.
Yeah, it's funny because this is the kind of story and the kind of show. The Immunes, Sean, see you later, pal. Nice knowing you. But the Immunes and stuff, there would absolutely be groups like that, whether they're immune or not or whatever, but there would absolutely be these religiously tinted groups that say this is the apocalypse, because we see it nowadays with a ton of groups. This is the apocalypse is here, follow us for salvation, whatever the case is, and all these splinter groups that would break off.
Yeah.
And we see that and say this is absolutely something that would happen. The one question, okay, we want to know this from you because we've debated this a lot.
Oh gosh.
The one question with this show, if a celebrity in real life, if this were to happen in real life,
Bobby is really hard for this plot line.
I would love to see this in real life.
I'm intrigued.
Which celebrity would be most likely to survive? Like if the crew made it to Southern California, what celebrity is left standing?
Out of all celebrities in the world, or
like LA, TV, whatever, famous people in America.
Who would survive this?
Like Bear Grylls probably, but who else? Like what other celebrities would survive?
Angelina Jolie. I mean, clearly.
You think Angelina Jolie would be there?
Yeah, I feel like she would be holding a flagpole and like saying, "Follow me."
I could see that. Okay,
Yeah.
I could see that.
I'll follow her.
I don't think we've picked her.
Nobody's picked her. I said Kanye West because he's kind of crazy.
I don't think Kanye West. I think he depends on too many people. I think he couldn't function on his own.
That's a good.
We went in deep with this. We really put.
We did. We spent like 10 minutes one day.
I mean,
debating it.
with the Dalai Lama, you think he'd be able to survive? You think
I
he's
doubt
too
it.
old? He needs other people to take.
I think he's too into helping people. Just think human contact. This thing is so contagious. The chances of being immune are pretty small. Anybody like that who's into helping people, that's why I think Kanye, because he's not going to do a lot. I don't think he'd go be helping people. I think he's going to go be alone.
He'd try and run for president.
That's a
and
terrible
get the
thing to
immunes, like he
say,
said in the
but-
VMAs. I think with the people, like we see with the immunes, when stuff like this happens, and it seems like everyone wants, as people, we want to define things. We want to find our hope. We want to find a direction to go in, and I think that's what Ramsey was offering these people. So I don't even know when I watch it. I'm like, are they inherently, like you said, are they good? Are they bad? What's their intention? Or are they just drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will, of what he's giving?
Well, I think what they play into as well of being manipulated and being brainwashed. And I think what they're tapping into is how, whether we know it or not, that's happening to us. Societally, all of us are being brainwashed, whether it's our marketing ads, whether it's the certain things that the government is pushing. And why are they pushing it? Because they're making money from it. It might not be healthy for us, but all of them have investment and have, they've got some stock in the game. So, of course, they want to keep pushing these agendas. And I feel like there's so many areas where we can look at and say we're being manipulated every single day. And to wake up and how do we take our power back and go, hold on. Like, let's start actually, can governments really serve just the people? Can they have good intentions? Like when it comes to creating this next season or maybe the further seasons, if we get to restart and reshape and restructure a government, how does that look? Because we can go into dream scenarios here. Like, is that possible?
Yeah.
And even when it comes to structures of religion, is there, like, if we can recreate religion, can we recreate one where everyone praises one God and we all, there aren't priests that tell us, like, this is how you live your life, because they're human too and they're not godly. But is there some way where we can all come together and truly, be under one religion? Is that even important? I don't know. There's so many questions that can happen, and there's so many possibilities with this upcoming season.
You just got my mind working so hard. Not necessarily smartly, but hard. I'm a pessimist. I'll always be a pessimist about everything, and I think people will always divide themselves. And for this show, I think it's a cool thing because it will be constant storylines. You can do so many storylines of splinter groups without making it too repetitive. There's so many ways to go with that, but I am too pessimistic to ever believe that the USS Nathan James is going to single-handedly restart the government. There's going to be so many potholes.
I think that's what will make it a great show, though.
For
It's
sure.
those potholes that
For sure.
make us all tune in every Sunday.
Yeah. I just feel like there's always going to be a group. Because Americans are distrustful of government. They're distrustful of authority in general in a lot of ways. And so I'm looking at this, and there's always going to be groups that just...
Well, that's my next question, and it sort of goes into predictions, and I don't know how much you can say or is now that we've eliminated, our main obstacle, what's the next thing that's
look,
gonna...
we're gonna have zombies next season. Let's just
Zombies
cut
and
to
a
the
talking
chase.
whale. So we have quite the interesting season 3.
You know what? I really respect our showrunners. When it comes to Steve Kane and Hank Steinberg, these guys are great at what they do, and I'm always enamored with the direction that they go and with these storylines and how they've been able to create these first 2 seasons. And they have so many last-minute adjustments that come in that help really craft the story and make it specific. And watching these guys work, it's definitely watching a couple of masters at their craft.
Do any of the actors have any influence on future storylines for them? Can you drop an idea, something that you have in mind, or is that not really?
Yeah, they want us to collaborate.
That's cool.
They really want us to be a part of the process, and they're watching us like hawks too, who we really are in real life and how we act, so that they can include that. So everything is very, you have to be receptive and open, and you have to want to be collaborative, because no matter what, you're always getting ideas from everywhere. Whether it's a little girl crossing you on the street, that's in a conversation on her phone, she might say something that goes, oh, she's not even talking to you, she's in her own conversation, but she somehow activates an idea in you. You're like, thank you, girl. It's not even listening. Like, you never know where these opportunities to be creative are going to come from. So I think you just have to always be open. So I think they're always asking us to contribute. Like, hey, if you don't like this, if this doesn't make sense to you, like, how can we make it better? And like, okay, we'll try both of those ideas. So it's a good show to work on in that sense, because they're empowering us to be a part of the show.
They asked us for ideas. When Steven was here a couple weeks ago, he took ideas from us too. So we've got the recording.
If
I see
Just
ideas,
the type of guy here.
if I see ideas that we had next season, I'm going to ask for some royalties. So, couple more Twitter questions. Do your friends in real life offer you their kids for baby daddy practice?
My buddy Justin and Emily just had a kid, little Maya, and I go over there, and the first time I met her, they're like, "You want to change your diaper?" Absolutely. I get to hold her every time I see her, and I grew up babysitting, so I've always been around kids. I've always had a little soft spot for kids. All my service is based around kids. So, when that time comes, I am going to be a good dad.
Wow. It's a method way to get into the role, and you're ready to go for it.
Always learning. I tell you, he does it all. Another one from Ben Quo. He asks, ask him, what would he name the child, boy or girl? I mean, this is half the, Lieutenant Foster is going to have a discussion in this, too.
I think we should just name the kid Lieutenant.
Just Lieutenant.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been going through a lot, and your positions really did define a lot in it. I'm fine with Lieutenant.
Beast.
That's it.
Yeah, Beast would be a cool name.
I think if it's a boy, I think they'll name it Tom. I think that's coming in season 3.
No,
I don't think that.
No.
You think Tom?
Yeah, after Chandler.
I got it. I understood where you were going. I just wasn't following.
Well, you both said no so fast. I maybe doubt myself a little bit.
No.
And last one from Twitter from me. Could you ask Travis, does the entire ship know Dr. Scott murdered Niels, or is Captain Chandler keeping it on the DL for a reason? I think rumors have been going around, but what's your interpretation? Does Lieutenant Green know that Dr. Scott murdered Niels?
You know what? I just read the scripts and go, me, not me, not me. So it didn't say anything about that, so I have no idea. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I think there's supposed to be a lot of chatter going on about that. I'm actually not sure what they want to do with that, but I know that that was a big. That was in alignment with what the Navy would do. So you have to follow protocol. And it brings up all these questions, It's like, you trust this person, you respect this person, you'd have done the exact same thing as this person, but you didn't actually do it. She did. So now, does she deserve to be punished in front of a, It just brings up a lot of those morality questions, like, where's your moral compass? How hard do you have to follow this moral compass in the times when there is no laws? So it just brings up, again, that moral conundrum of who are we and who do we have to be when we don't have anyone telling us how we have to be. Who are we? What is the internal structure that we carry? And I think upholding the Navy standards is what Tom Chandler does very well, and he hasn't budged.
See, but does that then make Dr. Scott a quote unquote bad person because she didn't uphold the standard?
Well, no, because you can look at all the audience, and the audience is going, yeah. And you can look at us, and they even said in some of the dialogue in the show that we would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think I think they're just soft tossing up a conversation starter.
Which is really important for the show, because going by the book in a time when there was no other rules is the only thing that kept the glue together. So then you see this instance when we want to make an exception, can we, won't we? I mean, we've also talked about that, and that is a huge conversation that I think the audience is having too. Yeah.
I agree completely.
Maybe, right?
I think
validation.
Well, I'm just you're exactly right.
Thank you.
That's what you needed.
Yeah, I just a little bit like that once in a while.
I guess I'm just trying to think, because Niels was such an unlikable guy. So from the audience
perspective, he was very likable.
Oh,
I freaking loved Niels.
Sarcasm or real?
No, I loved his character. I thought he was great.
Well, the character was
I
amazing.
didn't like his.
I thought he was charming. I thought he had this cool creepiness that he always just lived.
Creepiness, yes.
It's sociopathy. empathy. there was like another level there. The man started an epidemic.
But you know what? He did have a heart though, because you saw at the end, he's like, I wanna do good. So maybe he had that turn. Maybe he realized.
See,
some of his
I
mistakes.
interpreted that as complete narcissism, just a total, almost a god complex. Like I started this, I want to finish it, I want to do good. I'm a good person because
you
I
are
tell
a pessimist
myself.
and an asshole, because I saw the good in him. All right, I saw the good. He wanted to redeem himself, but you be you.
Yeah, you do you. I think there was a nice point in the episode when Dr. Scott went out there and used her cure in the same way that he was giving the virus. I thought that tied up that circle in a nice way. And for me, that was like, you know what? He died for a reason. For that one moment right there, I'm so happy about it, because he was creepy and unlikable. I didn't like him. I mean, as an actor, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, but I hated him as a character.
Oh, and you were supposed to. I'm going to text Kate after the show and say, well, Travis Van Winkle called me an asshole. Interview went terribly today.
That's actually a good interview.
Waiting for somebody to just say it.
If the town called you an asshole, that's a good interview.
I have yet to be called an asshole by somebody I'm interviewing on AfterBuzz. That's the first one. So.
Wonderful. You know, I'm gonna run with.
Yeah, that's the one we'll send to PR folks. We'll just blast it out. All right. So last question is from me. You say you are from Georgia. Does that make you a Falcons fan?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, when Vic was in the beginning stages of his career, man, it was exciting to be in Atlanta. It was really exciting. They had the Vic experience. They had all these different rides, and the energy was so palpable. And then Matt Ryan came through, and it's the same thing. Where it's like, yeah, it's happening, and then there's been he's got a big journey now ahead of him to really pick up the pieces, because they've crumbled, and I'm interested to see what they do. You hate the Falcons.
I'm from Charlotte. Panthers, baby. Cam Newton.
Yeah, let's see what he can do. I like to see his game finally starting to evolve. You know, I think his the headspace, his mentality, his mindset is really beginning to mature. Hopefully, because that was the only thing holding him back.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with acting, same thing with music, same thing with sports. It's the same thing with anything that's a really high volume sport where there's a lot of competition and a lot of eyes watching you. It's a mind game. And you really have to have a strong mental focus and flexibility and durability, and I think he's earned that. I think he's going to do really well this next season.
I will talk to you for 3 hours about football, so let's not even get into this.
Actually, will.
I literally will. And if you're a Braves fan, I'll talk to you for another 6 about baseball. But let's not do that. I guess last thing, we talked very little bit about the episode. That happens sometimes when we have guests. I'd rather actually hear from you. Build On was more interesting than I think anything we could have done the episode.
Check them out, buildon.org.
Buildon.org, and we are absolutely going to check that out.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Go build a school.
Absolutely.
You just have to raise $30,000.
That might be a little bit of a
That's
problem,
not,
but
no,
Kickstarter.
People want to help. They just need a reason. So if you ask people, like, hey, I'm raising money for this, even if they say no, what are they going to say? They're not going to be like, oh, that guy's a jerk. He's trying to build a school. No matter what, it's a win-win. So if you have a reason and a cause, people are waiting to help. And I think that was my biggest lesson a couple of years ago when starting to fundraise. I was a little hesitant at first, but just going for it. People step up.
I like it. Buildon.org. You'll be in Nepal at the end of this month.
Yeah.
And then the documentary comes out a year from now, essentially, August 2016.
Yeah, it's called Groundwork.
Groundwork. I can't wait for that. That's really cool. You guys have a season 3. We already know that.
Yes.
Last guest we had was Stephen Kane a couple weeks ago. We didn't know it by then, so please send our congratulations.
I call him Kane Daddy.
Please send our congratulations to everybody, and let them know that if they need some folks to play like news hosts on the show, I'm not doing anything next
You want
time.
to play, you're going to play a dead character next year.
Done.
How about that? You're just going to be a dead body next
I opt
Done.
for the live one, but give him the dead.
I can play a guy who's lying down. I can absolutely do
my
that.
dad's dream. My dad just wants to play a dead guy in the show. So next season,
You got to make that happen for your dad.
it's going to happen.
That's pretty cool.
I love it. At Nicholas Grava on Twitter. Travis is at TV Dub. I'm at Bobby DeMuro. You guys can comment again all week. We'll be back. Not this Sunday. It's Labor Day. This is a weird time of the year.
Yeah, party time.
So we won't be back this Sunday for Labor Day. We're going to be back the next week for the finale, the 13th or whatever day that is. So we'll be back then for that. We'll kind of do a double episode and do all that kind of stuff. Travis, thank you very much for coming in, man. This was fun.
Yeah,
You're not an
thank you.
asshole.
I kind of am.
Don't
but...
take it back like that. Oh, thank you. There we go. He said he was kidding.
And that's it this week on AfterBuzz. We'll see you guys in, 10, 12 days?
Yeah.
The next Sunday for our next Last Ship After Show. Have a great week, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.